Hey everyone, Chris here from Midwest Coaster fans. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day here. And I'm talking today about the information that came out, last week. Disney's scrapping its annual pass holder program at Disneyland. What does this mean? I'm going to talk about that today. As you can see on my left-hand side over here, I'm going to be talking about Disneyland and the news that came out. I'm going to blow that up here in a second. But they're basically scrapping that program here. And what does that mean for Disney pass holders in California? And also, why haven't they instituted a new program here in Florida, where I'm currently at? I know this is Midwest Coaster fans, but I like to talk about a lot of things Disney as well. So, the news that we do know, and I'll go ahead and read the article here in a minute. Basically, what Disney is doing out in California has nothing to do with anything besides the fact that they've been shut down for such a long period of time with the COVID outbreak hitting California, with the governor in California, Governor Newsom shutting down everything. Basically, what that means is that they don't know when they're going to be able to reopen Disneyland. So they decided, instead of going through a whole mess of different things and having people complain on a monthly basis about having to pay for the passes, about not being able to utilize it, about them, extending it out, they decided in return, which the article talks about, and I'll show it here in a second. They decided in return to just go ahead and give a full refund. Which what that means is that if you pay monthly over there, or if you've already paid it in full, you've been reimbursed fully on the months you weren't able to use it. So that's great news. What is not good news is that this means that Disney is looking at other means due to the pandemic. We already know in Florida that they decided to not allow new pass holders into the program. So the only way you're going to be able to go to Disney, if you're an existing pass holder, you could renew it, or would have to pay the daily ticket price, which averages anywhere between $115 to $140 a day per person. A little cheaper for a child, but still really expensive for a family. So you're looking at, a 5 day trip costing normal, even if you're local, because from what I could see, there's not any Florida discounts going on there. But let's go ahead and go straight into this article here. I'm going to go ahead and blow it up on the screen so you guys go ahead and read it. And hopefully this thing doesn't freeze up on me like it has in the past. The Disneyland and Disney California Adventure theme parks closed for nearly a year because of the COVID-19 pandemic are ending their annual pass holder program as we know it. The popular multi-tier ticketing system, which shifted the culture of two Anaheim theme parks, that it became a daily, weekly, or monthly hangout for many Southern Californians, is being axed. The annual pass program will eventually be replaced with new membership offerings. Potrick offered no timeline for the future offerings, citing unpredictability of the current environment. The surge of COVID-19 cases gripping Southern California prevents theme parks from knowing when they will reopen or what restrictions they will face once they do. In any of the annual pass program, refunds will be automatically given to those who paid for days beyond the park's closure last March. Walt Disney Company is looking ahead to operating the parks at reduced reservation-only capacity when California lets them reopen. But the move hits the park's most dedicated and loyal fans with certainty. Although Disney does not release attendance figures for the annual pass program, has long been believed to hover around 1 million. Although Disney does not release attendance figures. I'm guessing what they mean by that, they're not releasing how many are actually part of the program, because that sentence does not make any sense at all. So I'm guessing that's what they mean, because Disney does release their annual attendance numbers. It's public information. Those fans who have been wanting and expecting the Disneyland fix will not face this prospect of no longer being able to priority access when the park reopens, and holding their breath to see how the reimagined membership program will work. A replacement for the annual pass program is not expected to be implemented until the pandemic recedes enough for Disneyland Resort to welcome guests near or at its pre-coronavirus levels of attendance. Potrick said that long term, he believed this would move to be a silver lining for the pandemic for Disney, an opportunity to shape a program better suited to many Disneyland's fans whose financial circumstances may have changed recently, while other potentially having more flexible tiers for those who don't necessarily consider themselves park regulars. A nice part of this is creating a variety of different ways for people to have access to the park, Potrick said. If they want to come every single day, do we have a program that allows them to do that? If they want to come midweek, do we have a program that allows them to do that? The change will not affect Florida's Walt Disney World Resort, but visitors who hold a premier tier pass, which grants entry to both parks on both coasts, are about to lose their California park admission benefits and receive refunds if applicable. Those who hold an annual pass that was active during the park's closure March 14th of last year will continue to receive food and beverage discounts for the foreseeable future at Downtown Disney restaurant and shopping area adjacent to the Anaheim theme parks on California Adventures beyond Fifth Street in hopes of encouraging current pass holders to continue to visit Downtown Disney. They will also be granted a 30% discount on select merchandise from certain stores on Monday through Thursdays. Thursday's move echoes Tokyo Disneyland, operated by Oriental Land Company, which ended its annual program in October. For much of 2020, Disneyland executives, along with California's other theme park operators, pressured Governor Gavin Newsom to let the parks reopen. But in the fall, Newsom issued guidelines that tied the reopening of the parks to the eviction rates and the number of coronavirus cases per 100,000 residents in the counties that are home of the parks. And it just goes on and on and on. So you can see with the article that we're dealing with a variety of different issues at both parks. So with the park closing at Disney, what you have happening is that Disney is looking to other ways. So they're basically canceling it to avoid probably the fallout that would be from the annual pass holders that have been paying for it. What I think is interesting is that what they are allowing is that you could go to Downtown Disney even though they refunded you. And if you show your pass holder card, you automatically get discounts, which I think is a great idea because you're still encouraging the fans to come back. Now, I know Disney is faced with a lot of uncertainty, and I know a lot of people want to bash Disney for what they've done, but they're having to cut costs at Walt Disney World, and because of what's happening in Disneyland and parks throughout the world. We know Universal operates a park in Florida, a park in California, over in a couple other countries. But for the most part, Disney is operating a lot more parks, so it has a lot more operating costs than Universal does. Universal is also backed by Comcast, which does help in this pandemic because Comcast isn't hurting as much as Disney is. Remember, Disney has not been able to release any movies really, except for the Disney Plus. And then you also look at the other issues with sporting events being canceled. They own ESPN, ABC, so they had to think of new ideas in order to get those sports to continue. One was the NBA. So Disney has a lot of uncertainty. They were faced with a hard choice. They chose to do that. Now, I like the fact that they're talking about creating a tier system like they already have in Florida, which, locals get like a silver pass, which has a lot of blackout dates, but people that don't want to go there when the huge crowds are there, they're fine with paying for that pass. And then you have the gold pass and the platinum pass, and then obviously the out of state rates. And I think if they offered a tier package like they do down here in Florida over in California, I think you would attract a lot more people to join the program too. Now, when it's said that 1 million pass holder or 1 million attendance figures, I think whoever wrote the article must have wrote it wrong because I think what they meant by is that they don't release their figures on their how many pass holders that they have. So let's say 1 million people are pass holders. That's the estimation out in California. Then that's the thing. But I mean, I could bring up attendance figures right now at the Disney parks and show you that it's released as public information. I'm not going to do that though. And instead, I'm just going to talk about this because this is just a quick, very quick news update. For those of you who might missed it last week, we were busy covering POVs over at Fun Spot in Busch Gardens, Tampa, and also bringing other news. Now, I'm going to have the news on here. So this Friday, I'm going to actually be releasing the news for the week here on Midwest Coaster Fans, mainly for the Midwest parks and then also national chains that many people would notice. But a lot of parks are faced with a lot of uncertainty. Disney's one of them. I think it's going to take about 1.5 to 2 years to fully recover from this crazy pandemic. And, that's a fact. That's going to probably take them about 2 years to recover from it, because this pandemic is really taking this pandemic has really taken a huge hit, especially for the big parks, because they don't have the amount of numbers coming in. I mean, they're operating at 20%, 30% capacity at Disney, and the Disneyland park was closed, so they're not getting any profits from Disneyland. So this helps them look at other things. Unfortunately, we're probably looking to July or August before we'll see these parks return to kind of normal levels. The latest updates that came out from the pandemic, I don't know if you guys knew about it, but the goal with the new Biden administration, no politics in this, so don't go comment below because I will delete them. I'm just giving you information that I've read. The new incoming Biden administration basically stated that they want to be able to administer 1 to 1.5 million vaccines a day, all the way until a certain amount is reached, which pushes it right around late summer. Now, if they are able to boost that number up to 2 to 3 million a day, then they could possibly have everything pretty much reopened by early summer. Now, there's a lot of people out there that aren't going to be taking the vaccine, so you have to look at that as well. What are you going to do with those people? Are they going to have to show a negative result in order to enter the parks? Or are you just going to continue to have everybody wear masks and take temperatures? I don't think that's going to happen. And I'll talk about that in a future video on why parks are going to be moving to that other option. And one of the main reasons is they want to eventually get back to full capacity. They can't do so if you have half vaccinated and half that decided not to. So we're faced with a lot of uncertainty, and as I get more information on it, you will be the first to know on here. Now, I think Disney's doing the right thing. Having lived in Florida, the only main issue I have is that I can't get an annual pass right now, so I haven't gone to Disney besides in August. I would love to go out there all the time. I love Disney. I think Disney is great for people with young children, such as I have young children. I think Universal is more for the older crowd, but I love how Universal has the annual passes, and I'm able to go there and see World and Legoland if I need to. Plus, you know, obviously these are the only parks open in the country right now. Everything else has kind of been shut down for the season, besides maybe Nickelodeon Universe in New Jersey, and the one out in I don't know if one in Minneapolis is reopened at the Mall of America or not. But we have a lot of uncertainty facing a lot of different things, dealing with a lot of different news. And then I'm gonna have like a news brief on here, like I said, where I'm going to talk about a variety of different things. Primarily just talking about general park news and updates, and different progresses on different things. We have the Jersey Devil and stuff like that, but I wanted everybody to kind of get on here, understand why this is happening, to understand this is just temporarily until everything kind of returns to normal, and then they're going to be we're looking at a tier program to kind of benefit more people in the future that might have lower end budgets, that don't want to pay that enormous price, because an annual pass at Universal and Disney does cost you a hefty amount of money. You do get a lot of promotions and rewards with it, but for a lot of people, this is a huge investment. So, $700 on an annual pass isn't much if you're going every single day, but if you don't plan on going every day, you just want to go like once every other week. If they're going to have a pass program for them, pass program for somebody else, pass program for somebody that goes every day, that to me is a better business plan than what they have currently. So this pandemic has had them rethink a variety of different issues, which I think is great news on that. And let me know what you think by commenting below. I know it took me a couple days to get this video out, but let me know what you think by commenting below. I think the future of Disney will be fine. I think once we start seeing things return to normal levels, I think the parks will recover extremely fast. Being down here in Orlando has let me believe that when the parks reopen, people will come, people will show up, as I've seen down here. Even with the capacity limitations, it's still busy enough where the parks could operate at a profit. However, if you have one park open and a bunch of other ones that are closed, it's going to be hard for you to post a substantial profit. Also, operating hotels at a 50% capacity on your properties, it's not fundamentally sound for business wise, because you don't want to have a 50% vacancy rate. Normally, hotels are only operating at a 20% vacancy or less, unless you're talking about January and February. So Let me know what you think, like I said, by commenting below. I hope you enjoyed this video here on Midwest Coaster Fans. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button, bell notification button for future videos that drop down for Midwest Coaster Fans. And until next time, this is Chris signing off from Midwest Coaster Fans.